Hello and welcome to this channel about cryptocurrency education. Today I'd like to analyze the Cardano ADA chart using some indicators and oscillators to give you an idea if where the chart is heading, especially now that Grayscale invested into into Cardano, and now that Cardano has become the third biggest cryptocurrency by market cap. We can see today that it is trading at 137.5 and it is the 3rd of July at 8 o'clock in the morning in the UK. Now, I think this is especially interesting because as you can see here, where Cardano touched the $1 mark, which is the 200-day moving average as well. So it was pretty much exactly $1. That happened on the 22nd of June, as you might know. And this was also when, after that, we saw an upside, an increase up to, well, didn't close on that day on that value, but we saw it up to 145, which was a really nice increase. And we can also see that after touching that 200-day moving average, Cardano jumped and broke this negative downtrend that actually started on the 17th of May. And now it's sort of in a upside at the moment. Now the question is, how is that going to develop going forward? Are we going to see a long-lasting recovery now? Or are we still heading maybe for another downtrend? And I'm going to take a look at the different indicators and oscillators now and try to explain these to you. What you can see here on the chart as well is the 50-day moving average as well here, which is a bit higher, and an important resistance, line here at around 150. Let's take a look first at the MACD indicator on the daily chart, which actually on the 29th of June had a bullish crossover where the blue line here crossed the orange line there, and this you can basically, from that, it shows that there is a tendency of increasing prices. Now the relative strength index, as you can see it here, stabilized down here at this value, and this indicates that Cardano at the moment is neither overbought nor oversold. So it's recovering at the moment a little bit, but that also indicates that there is some space to the upside. So it's neither overbought nor oversold. Now the next one we are going to take a look at is the on balance volume that you can see here also on the daily chart, on the 1-day chart. What this indicates, because it went up in the beginning of the year massively, but now it's actually on the slight rise. It's been until end of May, when this basically upside trend stopped. Now it's going sideways. It's going down very, very slightly, but pretty much sideways. And this indicates that institutional investors and large investors are not heavily buying at the moment. They're a bit careful at the moment. So we need to see how this develops going forward. Now this might surprise you because we heard all the news about Grayscale investing. But what you can see here, we just don't have the volume. If we go back to this chart here, we are far away from the volume that we saw in May, in the beginning of, the first half of May. And also we are far away from any of the high volume purchases that we saw when we saw a significant increase in price. So there isn't really a lot happening. As you know, there's a lot happening in the background on Cardano with the project. But with regards to the volume, I'm really missing a little bit the volume to think about that we could have a long-lasting uptrend now, or a rapid uptrend. The volume is just missing. I mean, you can see it here compared to this period here, where it pretty much went sideways, which was the end of last year, and we only really saw an increase here then in towards the end of November. Yeah, at the moment the volume is quite low. And also if we have a look at the Chaikin money flow, we can see that it also dropped below zero here very recently towards the end of June, which means there was a little bit of selling pressure recently with Cardano. Not too dramatically. It has actually increased now slightly again, which in the current uptrend. So we're pretty much around the zero mark here, quite neutral, which is sort of, it shows it's very neutral at the moment. But unfortunately, if we have a look at this one here, which is the 50-day momentum, we can actually see it is dropping quite significantly which actually indicates that the current correction or consolidation could continue for a while, because yeah, it is dropping quite significantly, as you can see here. Especially as we can take a look at the MACD again, which actually on the daily showed a bullish crossover, as I've just shown you. But if we go back to the weekly, let's take a look at that, because on the weekly it has actually had a bearish crossover, which was middle of June. So this indicates a downtrend, at least in the short term. Now, because this indicates rather sort of negative development of the price, at least in the short term, I think personally, I think that Cardano or ADA will recover slightly, possibly going up to this 50-day moving average here, which is around this important resistance level here of 150. So we might actually see an increase again to 150 in the short term, after which it could actually go down further, hopefully not going below the 200-day moving average, because if it goes below that, we could see prices going down further, possibly even to something like $80 or 95. But yeah, I don't think Cardano is, let's say, over the line yet. I don't think we can see a long-lasting recovery yet, because first of all, the volume isn't there, and we see the decline in the 50-day moving average, and yeah, things like the on-balance volume, which is quite neutral, and there was a little bit of selling pressure as well, and the bearish crossover of the MACD on the weekly. All of that indicates, in the short term at least, a sort of continuing consolidation or a correction, whereas we could, as I said, we could see this one here increasing up to the 50-day moving average in the short term, but then possibly it could drop down further again if nothing significant happens. What we can also see here actually, and this will probably decide where we are heading, because we can actually draw something like a triangle here. So where we are is that this will probably decide going forward where we are heading. So something will happen here. There will be either a breakout to the top or the bottom. I think maybe in the very short term it might actually, as I said, go up to this 150 level somewhere here, but then we might drop. But this is all an analysis based on the indicators as oscillators. I think this should give you an idea of where we're heading. Don't think we will see the long-lasting increase to all-time highs yet, at least not in the next few weeks. There might be another drop before we finally see the increase. I think in the long run we are still in the bull market, as I said in other videos, but I think here in the very short term we are not over the over the hill yet. We are not seeing the long-lasting recovery. Also, the volume isn't there yet. So all of this is telling me that we need to be a bit patient, be a bit careful with investing. If you want to invest, I think as soon as we see the increase, or as soon as we can see a breakout over the 50-day moving average, and we can see the 50-day moving average increasing again, and see more volume, then we can be a bit more confident with investing. But I mean, all of this is really for people who are thinking about possibly investing in the short term. I personally will invest anyway, because I invest every month a certain amount of my dollars, British pounds, I'm in the UK, into ADA. I'm a long-term investor anyway, so to be honest, in the long run, it doesn't matter to me if I buy at 150 or if I buy at 130 or 140. It doesn't really matter too much in the long run, because in the long run, I see prices going up to 10, 15, maybe even $20. So that's, in several years. But also by the end of this year, my personal view is that we will see at least the $5, because I think we haven't seen the end of the bull market yet. I think we will see another major increase. I personally always like to refer to the stock to flow model, where if I compare it to how 2013 went, we can still, we still have the best in front of us, I would say, this year. And then I expect the bull market to end in, end of December. But by all means, please don't take any of this as investment advice. I just wanted to give you an idea of where the ADA chart is heading at the moment. So watch for this important 150 mark here, and the 50-day moving average. And also, I think a breakout will be imminent. Obviously, I don't know in which direction it is. Personally, from all these indicators that I've shown you, where I actually see a slightly negative trend, I rather think that we go to the downside. But as with chart analysis, everything is just probabilities, so you can never know for sure. But the indicators that I've shown you, they were actually in the very short term rather sort of negative, not too negative, nothing too critical, but rather negative. But then I think also if I refer back to the stock to flow model for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin definitely has a big impact on the Cardano price, towards some point, middle of July, end of July, we should, according to the stock to flow model, see us going back into the bull market. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully that was a useful video. If you like me to do things like that going forward, and also for other coins, then please let me know in the comments. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel, give it a like, because supporting small YouTube channels is important, especially if it's about your passion, which is cryptocurrencies. So yeah, please subscribe and support the channel. And then I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye.